Hi, I'm Kathy from Eclectic Images and thank you for joining me. Now today's background looks a little bit different to normal because our studio is currently being used for a production of Midsummer Night's Dream. So we've got set around behind us and stuff. So yeah, we've got some lovely pretty stuff there. I also have one of my grandsons here today, so you'll hear some background noise. And our cameraman today is my son Lawrence, which is wonderful. Okay, now our technique today, we're going to be featuring two of the newer sets of the Gansai Tambi paints. This is the Granulating Colours and the Sumi set, along with some of our stamps. So I've been wanting to do a video with these granulating colours for a while because they're just amazing. Okay, let's show you what we're going to be doing today. So we've got the stamps we're using, from the Madagascar Periwinkle, the Madagascar Periwinkle set, and the straight Madagascar Periwinkle. So I'll be using a saying out of this one and the bigger flower, and then some of the leaves out of that one. So the two sets are designed to really go together. So our paints, the Gansai Tambi, the Sumi set, and the Granulating Colours. So the Sumi are colours with a black base to them, so you get really rich dark colours. The Granulating are ones where they separate out into different colours. So it does a whole lot of that watercolour-y blending stuff for you. The only other thing we've got is our, not ours, but the Versafine Clair Nocturne, which is what I'm using for the basic stamping. Okay, now I have already pre-stamped our flowers onto a card just to give them a bit of drying time. But before I start playing with that, let's just do some swatching out of these granulated colours and give you a good look at them. So in the pack you get 5 colours and an empty well, because they work best if you add a lot of water to them. I'm going to be using that, but I'll also probably wash them out on my mat as well. So I've got some water in a pipette ready for that, and I've got my water brushes ready to go, and young Teddy just bumped his head on the table, but I think we're going to be okay. Yep. So I'll just add a drop of water to each of the colours to get them started. And then I'm going to make sure I've got a very wet brush, and I'll put some water on my mat as well. So make sure I've got a wet brush, pick up some of the Aurora Red and pop it on my mat, pop a bit more water with it, and then we're going to swatch that onto our card. So even adding a bit more water, and really let those colours come through. So you can start to see the other colours that are in amongst that. Now, they're very strong, so I do need to make sure that I give my brush a good clean before I pick up the next colour. Let's grab the Aurora Pink. Did I say it's before the Sumi Red? I meant the Aurora Red. So let's add lots of water in with that one. So you can see there's blues, there's pinks, there's often hints of green. There's hints of greens in with this one. It's all pretty magic. Make sure my brush stays nice and wet. Pick up some of the orange. So the colour when you first put it down, like that doesn't look like an orange, but as you wash it out, you can see that the orange is there amongst those green tones. So they're just really fun. This is Aurora Blue. More water in there. So yeah, we've got pinks and blues, maybe a hint of some oranges in there happening, and Aurora Violet. Yeah, let's wash some water into there, and we'll also find different shades of pinks and blues coming through as well. So you can see they just give you all these extra tones to them that we're going to use to our advantage in colouring our leaves and petals today. Now, as you're seeing, I'm just checking on the view on the camera, we're seeing the colours and the painting quite clearly. That's good. I'll move that to one side and bring in our already stamped piece of card. And I'm going to do a nice little technique where we put some frog tape along the edge of the card, or low tack tape. So just make sure I've got enough to go the whole length of the card. And I've lined my card up on my grid so that when I put the tape on, I can see that I've gone in that I'm parallel with the edge of the card. And I'm going to let it cover a little bit of that flower. We'll do the background first. just hold that in place. Pop that down. Making sure I'm watching my grid. I'm going to press it in place there. Just want to have a little bit of a look and see if our saying is going to fit on that side. I think it is. It might overlap one petal a bit. That's right, we're going to stamp that in later. Okay, so I'm going to do the background first, which means I'll switch to the Sumi colours. And for this, I think I'll choose Sumi. I work a lot with Sumi Green and Sumi Blue. So I might... Oh, no, look, I'll do those because I really like them. That's not being very adventurous, is it? Go with the ones I like. Okay, let's get our brush nice and wet. So, as well as using the fact that I'm using a water brush with the water in the handle, I'm also dipping it into the water to make it really wet before I start applying some water to the background area of the card. Then I'll actually use a second water brush to pick up some of the Sumi Blue, and you'll see just how dark it is. And then we're going to come in with that nice wet brush. Our card's already wet, but we're going to wash it out more. Let the colours start to move. Thought we brought quiet toys over for Teddy to play with, but of course he'll find the noisiest bits of them. So as well as dragging out, I'm washing a bit of water into them to get more movement. We might put a little bit across the top of the card there. So I'm going to wash some water into that, drag it out, wash water back. I don't want to get too many hard lines. I do want to get the colour inching its way into the card. But I really don't want a hard line like it's developing there. So I'm going to wash some more water into that. But I love it when you get some patterning happening. Now I must admit, I am not qualified as a watercolour artist. I paint watercolours from more of a craft background, but I thoroughly enjoy what I do. I do find, I have done some watercolour courses, and I do find that when I'm working with the Gansai Tambis that you do use more watercolour techniques rather than the normal watercolouring I do with inks or watercolour pencils, which are different techniques. One day I might do a video comparing the two. Okay, let's lay a bit of water down here, and we're going to do a bit of a blend from the blue into the green. So let's pop a bit of the blue on, clean my brush a bit, pick up some of the green and get that in there as well. Now let's use our clean brush, tease those out a bit. Now if you get too much water on, you can always come in and use a bit of paper towel just to take a bit of water away if you want to. I think I'm going to rather like where those dark colours go. Let's just not get a hard line there. And now I'll lay a bit of water down here, and we'll bring more of the green down there. So you could do it all in one colour, that would be fine. I just like having a little bit of a transition from one colour to another. Let's make sure the brush stays really wet. So I'm coming up close to the edge of the petals. I'm trying not to go over the edges at all because I don't want these colours to mess it all with when we put the granulating colours on. Just rinse your brush out as you need to so you can keep adding clean water in. Now I could do this with just the one brush, but I like to keep one brush loaded with colour and use the other one for clean water. Just wash that out a little bit more. So as you can see, when I touch into where the colour's stronger, there's automatically colour being picked up on my brush. So that's going to drag out and give us a bit more coverage. Often I'm just dabbing a bit of water in and just seeing what the colours do. That's part of the joy of watercolours, is playing with them and just seeing what happens. So you can see how beautifully this is dried up here. I've got maybe a bit of a line there that I might touch a bit of water into. But you're often better not to mess with it too much. Let it be its own thing, or else you find that you can lift off colour or you can get more lines than what you intended. and then I go in and play more. Everything I say not to do, I usually do. Okay, let's start working on the petals. So to do this, I'm first going to give that a little bit of a dry. I'm just going to rinse my brushes out. Give that a bit of a dry with my heat gun. And then we're going to lift the tape away because we want to be able to colour that petal. Actually, while that's drying, I could actually move on to the leaves and give that a bit more drying time there. So let's move on to the leaves. So we're going to use the Aurora Orange for these because it has that greeny tone to it. So for this, let's make sure I've got my brushes nice and clean. I'm just going to clean off my workstation so that I'm adding fresh colour to it. So, but I could work just in this extra little palette here. So let's add a few drops of water in there. Add another drop of water onto the orange. Okay, so let's pick up some of that orange colour. And wash it out there. I'm going to lay a bit of water down on my leaf and then wash that colour into it. Might just grab a little bit of more concentrated colour, put it in the base of the leaf there. And we can see, as I touch a bit more water in there, you can see those extra colours coming through. Teddy's not quite talking yet, but he's very vocal. Has no trouble at all with getting himself understood. So let's wash a little bit of the pale in. Now if I wanted to have less colour, I can come in with my clean brush and push that back and just let there be a little bit of colour there, but I still want to add a little bit of stronger colour down here at the base of the leaf. And let's just very gently bring a bit of colour in, a bit of water in. In fact, I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave that. I like it as it is. Teddy's not just talking, he's actually trying to dismantle some of the filming area. And poor Lawrence is trying to Velcro things back together. Teddy's going to think that's hilarious. Okay, lay a bit of water down, put our soft colour on, add a bit of concentrate, and then think, what do we want to do with that? Let's add a little bit of darker along there, and just get a bit of water and wash into that. Just teasing it a bit to see how much more of the granulating colours I can get coming through. Oh, that's good. They're just, because they move so much, it's so much fun to play with them and just see what effects you can get. While we're doing leaves, I'll do this one down the bottom here as well. So again, back to the softer tones. And you can see that's already just running into the water there. Anyone who loves playing with watercolour will just adore playing with these. I'll pick up a bit more of the softer colour. Rinse out and add in just a bit of water. As I said, has no trouble in making himself heard with his wishes. Now that's a bit that I don't like sometimes what I do with watercolour, and it is where I've added more water and played a bit too much. So I'm going to come in and just try and alter the balance there a little bit. In fact, having taken away some colour, I'll leave that like that now. Okay, let's move on to our blossoms and have a look at what colours we might like to do there. So to do those, I am going to remove that tape. Let's just check that our background is dry. We'll just go over it slightly with the heat gun, because often with a masking tape or a tape, if you warm it slightly, it's more likely to come off without tearing your background paper. So we'll warm it a bit just to make sure that both the watercolour's dry and to soften the tape. Okay. So I'm just going to pick that up there and take it just slowly and steadily at a bit of an angle. So far so good. And it's doing what we want, and that is it's stopped the watercolour, but it hasn't interfered with our stamping, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay. Nice. I love getting that crisp edge and then the watercolour flowing out from it. Don't love so much getting stuck with the tape and getting it all stuck all over my fingers and not being able to get rid of it. Okay, let's go. We're going to choose some colours and grab a fresh piece of paper towel from over here. So I think I'm going to go with the blue and the violet. What we might do is just start with, actually, we'll go with the Aurora Pink on the smaller flower. So this time I'm going to put some water on my mat. So I'm going to grab some Aurora Pink. Again, I'll have one brush with water and one brush with colour. So the technique is much the same. We're just laying some water down. Pop our watercolour on. And see what happens. I'm just pushing it out to the edges of the petal a little bit. Oh, look at the colours in that. Okay, let's lay some water down. So when I put the colour, I'm putting the colour on with more the tip of the brush, but then I use more the length of the brush, the deeper bristles, where it's got more water on it, to spread the colour out so that I'm adding water to it as I'm manipulating it. I think someone just went splat. Lay some water down, pop some colour in. Then we have the pump starting, just because we like lots of background noise. Teddy's older brother Grayson is very much into dinosaurs and loves his Lego Jurassic Park. And his favourite song is the Jurassic Park theme, which he loves listening to, which is great, having a youngster loving classical music. But if you hear some noise in the background of Teddy singing, he can sing one bar of the Jurassic Park theme, and we get that over and over again. But it's so cute, we don't mind. Now if we wanted to, after softening this one a bit, if you wanted to, you could certainly come in with some of the same colour and add, I'll do it on this petal because that one's got a bit of depth to it, add a little bit more colour just to that centre area of the petal. So you can still paint with them creamier, like your more standard Gansai Tambi colours, or you can get them washed out to get that multicoloured look. Okay, let's rinse off. Now this time we're going to blend a couple of colours on the one petal. More leaving a line on me. I know watercolour often leaves lines and it's part of the beauty of it. I've done so much ink blending in my years, I just struggle with having lines appearing. So I'll often leave something and then I'll look at it and go, I need to touch that up, and occasionally it ruins it, but usually I can just tweak it a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go with the blue and the violet on the bigger petals. So let's start off the same way, putting our water down. I'm going to pick up some of the blue. See, it's washing into the water that we've already got there. Bring in our nice wet brush. Just take it to the edge of the petal, but then let it flow from there. And then let's just pick up a little bit of the violet. Actually, I might bring a third brush in for this, because that way I'm not having to clean. If I had one brush, I could clean it between colours, but then I'm wasting the colour that I've got on my brush. So if I have another brush on the go, I can pick up an extra colour with that, and I've still got my initial colour on this one. I like that. I have played with these colours a little bit, but I just keep discovering more things with them that you can do. And I've put a fingerprint on that one, but we'll cover that up with some liquid pearls or something later. So let's go to our blue. The only problem with working with several brushes is remembering what you've got on each brush. Now let's come in with our violet again. And just wash a bit more water in there. Get the violet moving into the other colour a bit. All right, I'm going to try this time, just to show something a little bit different. We're going to put in the violet first. So once again, lay down a bit of colour, a bit of water, which has got a bit of colour in it. We're going to pop the violet in. And then bring in our blue. So putting it basically next to the violet, and then a mixture, pushing it into the violet and then dragging the violet out into our other colour, and then just add some plain water. Hello, little teddy. I quite like that as well. We get a bit more of the violet showing up. Now, Teddy's come over to say hello, so we may see the tablecloth start to disappear that way.
Mom.
Hello, would you like to come up and say hello? You'd like to come up and say hello? This is our Teddy. Teddy, look, there's a camera over there you can say hello to. Hello. Yeah. Okay. How about I give you a brush to play with? There we go. Oh. And then Nana can keep painting. Okay. And loads of water in there. Yes, darling. you want other brushes. Now see, I'm getting that line there that I don't like, so I'm just going to, before that's fully dried, come over and both push some water into it, but also still tease it out a bit from there. This one, I'll go back to just doing the violet second, so that it matches more in with those petals, and we're drying out a bit there, so I'll just add a bit more water into those. Okay, so and our clean brush. Up a bit too much colour. Okay, wash on our water. Oh yes, that'll munchkin. Yeah, I agree. Brushes are great for chewing on. Yeah. Put a purple in. In fact, let's bring this some more purple this way. Bit of blue, and I'll wash it out with some water. And then we'll just come in with clean water. Now, because you're doing a lot of washing with water, you may find that you do go over your edges a bit. You may find you don't get quite to the edges of your petals every time. That's all okay. That's all part of the creative process of it. It says me going, oh, but I'm just going to tease that a little bit more there. Just add a little bit more colour into that one. I don't even mind if you get an odd spot. So anyway, that's how our colours are heading. I'm going to just hold the card up so Lawrence can get a nice close-up, just so you can see the variations of colours in there. And we're just going to finish up with adding in our bit of stamping along there. So I'll pop that on a block, checking if I've got my stamp platform handy, and I haven't, because that would make life really easy. We'll ink that up with the Versafine Clair. Now this is one of the sayings from in the Madagascar Periwinkle set. So it's got, now let your dreams and blossom are two separate words, so you can actually use blossom in with some of our words from other word sets. You've got bloom your own way, and you've got this one, take time to do what makes you happy. And that one is lovely for using. It's a longer stamp so that it could be used on a journal page or a scrapbook page. It could be used on the bottom of a card, but it also can look really good used up the side of a card. So we're just going to pop it in there. And that is our card. I'll probably mount that up onto, now I'm just going to bring it forward onto the black. So I'll just do it slowly so Lawrence has got time to go with me. And that way he can get a bit better look at it. So I'll probably add a black backing to that, or a dark blue backing. And we'll come in with some pearls to do the centres of the flowers. So that's playing with our Gansai Tambis with the Sumi set, which is the darker colours, and the granulating ones that we did the flowers and leaves. So I hope you like to have a play with these ones. We have got them on our website. Don't forget to, if you've enjoyed today's video, to like and subscribe to our channel so you get notifications of when I load up new stuff. And I'm always happy for you to leave messages either on the YouTube or on Facebook, letting me know what sort of things you'd like me to cover in our videos. Thanks again for joining me today. Have a crafty day.